Bum 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 bum.
I'll order it, but I'll keep the trap shut. Mostly.
The way that I can sit looks reasonable.
Alright, if I can get you to just click that on the top of your jumper.
See, I don't just slot it in there.
Yeah, perfect. Maybe you just, I'm just saying it to the desktop.
Right.
And then would you mind running that down inside the jumper and out the bottom?
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, if you go to emails and attach that file, which will be on the desktop, then if you send it to me, I'll print it off.
This off now.
Should we sort it out here, right? Very thick jumper. Very lovely and warm.
Yeah, well, it needed to be.
Yeah.
We've been at my dad's house, and actually, I'd forgotten that the heating's back on today. But
Just want to like that. So
yes.
see it. Cool.
Yes. Sadly, my father's passed away, so it's not a current case.
Yeah, Chris was telling us about him before.
Just got a bit of printing to do, like that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Couple of minutes.
Okay. Printing.
Yes, he's going to be making a noise.
So.
Do you want to run through anything?
Yeah, I'll just get the questions up and we can see how it goes. Is the printer in here?
Yeah, it's just on.
It'll be in the other room. Oh yeah.
It's there. Okay. So if you talk to me,
Yep.
right down the middle, that'll be good. That's good. Should we wait or should we start? What do you reckon?
When's it going to kick off, Chris?
I'm just printing one piece of paper, and then it will be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might as well wait.
We'll wait. Cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all right. Am I all right for position?
Perfect, yeah.
I don't look too.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I did the clap, didn't I?
Yeah.
I did.
You've got it on Wi-Fi, haven't you, Ivana? I've still not received it.
Uh-huh.
Say again?
I've not received it still.
No. I sent it to.
Wonders of technology.
It's always the same with printers. I've
I
rarely have one
think
which
she's
doesn't
not.
work.
She's not through into the Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, right. Usually one in the office is.
We'll do the printing in a bit. We'll disappear.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Close the door.
Yeah.
David, do you want to let the dog in the training room?
I was just waiting.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, firstly, what type of care did Right at Home provide for your dad?
Right. We started off. Well, I suppose we only had drop-in care. It started off as sort of social care. So he was really just getting somebody to come and be with him, but as he got a bit frailer, they were helping him get up in the morning and giving him a wash and actually checking him over. So they gradually took on more and more as his needs progressed. So it was quite an interesting one because, we weren't quite sure what level of care to pitch it at, but they were adaptable and changed as we needed them to do so.
Excellent. And how often did he see the caregivers?
We had them in 3 times a week, I think, Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. because Dad had other things going on the other days with other people who were going to come in and be around. So he had a housekeeper who came in and cleaned up and chatted to him for a couple of hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I was there on a Wednesday afternoon. Friday he went out with the minibus to Tesco's. So he had something every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started off getting them in just to fill the gaps. Yeah.
Excellent. And then what types of activities did he do with the caregivers?
Not really activities, mostly just talking about his life and things like that. So they provided cups of tea and a bit of social contact. He lived on his own, had done since my mother died 12 years ago, and you can get rather stuck in a house all by yourself. So I think that was the main thing.
Cool. And can you tell me a bit about how Right at Home has impacted on your life, your family's life over the time?
I think they were exactly the right group to go with, because Dad's needs were quite minimal to start with. Certainly, it was very difficult to see whether or not he needed care at all. And I visited care homes and I talked to people who did a bit of caring and things, and they mostly seemed to be dealing with people who had Alzheimer's or were really not mentally alert. And Dad still had all his marbles. So his main problem was that he was bored and lonely, unmotivated, but that's not really what you think of care for. So I was actually coming to the CAB to discuss what I could do, and it turned out that they were shut, but there was this business card on the gate, and I called the number, and it turned out they were literally upstairs from the CAB. So I came up and talked to them, and it turned out they'd only opened that morning, and they were looking for clients. So we got in at that stage, and it was, it gave Dad exactly what he needed. So he had company, he had intelligent people to talk to. I've found all the carers here are highly intelligent, interesting people in their own right. And I think that made an enormous difference to Dad. He loved them to bits, they loved him to bits. A mutual admiration society. And they really all got on like a house on fire, and it certainly improved his outlook on life in the last 3 months or so that he had them.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Cool.
It's just brilliant.
And then what would you say the best thing about Right at Home is?
I think it is the carers. They do seem to attract carers who've got world experience, they've got interesting lives to talk about themselves, and they can take a lot on board. It's not always the case in the care industry. I think if you're there to sort of deal with one particular type, sort of group, you possibly don't need to be able to hold your own in a conversation about opera. But, Dad was able to talk about all these things and people took an interest. So he had interesting people in his life and they gave a lot to him. It really worked well.
Cool. And then was there anything that your dad said to you about Right at Home that particularly stood out?
He did say there's one carer who no longer works with them, but he was one of Dad's main carers, and he did say Harry's going to miss me when I'm gone. So he knew that Harry had invested a lot emotionally, and sure enough, when he did die, Harry sent me a couple of very heartfelt messages.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it. Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate your time. Really good.